Good morning, everybody. Waking up to the sunrise at sea has got to be one of the most special things that you could ever see. Nothing around you. Big sun just popping up through the ocean like that. Drives me flipping crazy. I love it. Welcome to another video. My name's Watney. I create social media content for Superyacht and I fly bush planes around South Africa when I'm not sailing the seas. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, Luke?
I am doing fantastic. It's very bright.
How's your watch last night?
Actually, we had some fun. Actually got to call a boat, say, hey, what are you doing? Sir, what are your intentions?
So how are we doing? How are we doing on planning and where we were supposed to be as to your expectations?
We have a small window of nice like this, where it's not too bumpy, but it'll be alright. Bit of a beam sea, a little bit off the port bow for a few days, but we've definitely picked up speed a lot more than what I thought, which is great, which means you can get in earlier.
Could you run us through how you do your weather planning?
So I actually just printed, we just printed some off. So the company that we've been using is Weather Routing. Not only with all the tools and stuff that they have, they also get recommendations from the boats that are out there, so they get
Real-time
forecast. So the software I've got, this is what I've loaded up this morning. All I'm doing is hitting play and it's tracking our course, theoretical course coming down from Florida all the way down to St. Martin. So you can see here there's a high pressure system out here. We're looking at anywhere between 10 and 15 knots coming towards us most of the time. And if you can imagine, if it starts going green, it's pretty much the way you're going to be feeling. So we try and stay away from green as best as possible. Yachting is, for us, it's okay every now and again to go and do it, but realistically, no, this is far more enjoyable.
It's the boats that can handle it, but it's everything inside the boats that tends to break.
Without a doubt. When you start getting that rough weather, things that you thought were stable and secure are no longer secure and stable. This trip down for Christmas is always an interesting one. So if you get a weather window, you take it. Otherwise you're going to be banging into waves and wind, and it's just not that much fun. I prefer this. This view right here, right now, that's what it's all about. Official, number 7, right there. That's you, you're number 7.
Perfect. So that's, if we double it, so we're on 14 by day 4, day 5, could be just 20. Could be just 20.
I think we might see a lot more.
You reckon?
I think so, once we get closer to the islands.
Well, mate, come and bother me again then.
I am, yeah. Tell us a little bit about, you've cooked in restaurants before, right?
Yeah, I worked probably about 7 years in restaurants back home around London and around Hampshire area. High-end restaurants mainly. Then I decided to get into yachting, and there is quite a difference between the restaurant scene and the yachting scene. There's things that you would never think are so different. Well, firstly, you know you have to learn how to cook a bit of everything in yachting, because all the guests, you know, you never know what they want. They could want sushi one day, but the next day they could want Texas barbecue for all we know, yeah? So you really have to adapt and learn, and cooking on boats, the greatest thing about it is you can test all that on the crew, which is very handy. And other things that you need to think about as well, obviously working on a boat, we're not stable the whole time, we're constantly moving, we're constantly rocking. So that means we can't weigh things, that means we have to do everything measured by cups or teaspoons and etc. Even times I've had to go ashore in the tender with some little bags of sugar and stuff and weigh it out correctly so I can make my ice cream and stuff. So yeah, there's lots of different things that you need to think about.
Cut. Okay, so that was, mate, one hit wonder, bro. What a perfect one hit wonder. Oh, you burn it? My interviews are wrecking everything. Transitioning from the kitchen to the galley, so to speak, from land to the boats. Was it difficult? How did you do that transition?
I was really lucky, man. Yeah? I was approached. So I was working in a restaurant and my mate, who was a waiter, come up to me and was like, do you know anyone who wants to work on a yacht? And he was like, oh right, my dad's friend's looking for someone. Then I got in contact with him, then I went up and cooked for the family, and they offered me a job on yachts and paid for all my certificates.
No way!
Everything.
But
I never even knew about it.
You've done all the hard work though.
Yeah.
You've been in the kitchen.
I've been in the
because there's people that are trying to come out of school and come and work on boats as a chef.
I think that's a silly move. Because you just don't understand. I think kitchens, that's where you learn how to work organised. When you have your head chef breathing down your neck, going, why are you working like that? But it's little things like this, because if you just work and you peel stuff on your chopping board, it's not organised. And I always have something I call an NDC. It's called a nice damp cloth. Always wiping after, you know? Organisation. And working in restaurants, that taught me that. Because if I didn't, I would get screamed at. Another thing, spoon. Always had a spoon on me. If I didn't have my spoon on me in the restaurant, or I left it on the side, one of the boys would put it in the fryer and take it out and leave it on the side, and I'd burn my hand. And they'd be like, why didn't you have your spoon on you? But I think it's just good experience to have that background knowledge in a restaurant, because, and the other thing, it's harder. A lot of chefs wouldn't really want to employ a chef that's just come out of school and not got any experience in the kitchen. Because, let's face it, a lot of chefs want an easy life.
Yeah.
They don't want to employ someone that they have to just watch constantly.
Alrighty, well that concludes the first day back at sea. For me anyway, it's our first full day for the crossing down to the Caribbean. An eventful day so far, having some fun. I think we're up to 13 boats so far, so for those of you that guessed in the previous video wondering how many we're going to see before the last time we leave Miami to the first time we see the Caribbean, we are on 13 so far, and we've still got I think 2 3/4 days to go, so it's still a little while. We try to do a simulated catch and cook. So we tried to get the rods out and physically catch something. We didn't. So we tried to simulate that and go with a piece of fish. We lost the piece of fish, unfortunately. It was worth a try and pretty funny to try and create anyway. But yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do some fun stuff. We're gonna put a GoPro up and give you an indication on how quickly the boat gets salty based on how quickly that lens gets blurry. You see Sam, the deckhand, rinsing down every single day, twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. So we just want to give you an indication quickly on how fast it takes for a boat to get salty. We desalinate our own water on board, so it means that the boat makes their own water. We'll have a chat with the engineer and find out how much water he makes per minute and how quickly that water gets used on the deckhands for a rinse. So tune back in tomorrow. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.